Hello, it's time for the tug. It's tug time, guys. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate you guys being here. Today we have another fun one. It's always fun because, you know, when you're hanging out with me, it's fun, right? We're gonna be scrapping some dishes. We're gonna be talking a little Salvajor, and very specifically our Salvajor Collector. So let's go get dirty in the dish pit. This is gonna be fun. Hey, here we are. This is our upgraded dish pit, our newest dish pit. You see some advanced tab coat tables. And then in this advanced tab coat table, this soil table, we have our nice Salvajor Collector here, right? So it just looks like a big hole, and then there's this basket looking thing in there. And then inside of that, there's this thing laying down there, right? That's the overflow pipe, that's the stand pipe. So put that down in, right? Then you put the basket in. This is our basket we'll talk about here in a bit. And then that is our catcher. You'll see in a bit what we're talking about with that. So here's our on-off. We actually even have a lockout device here that we can do. You can kind of see that on-off, right? On this on, obviously all the power is on. If we turned it off, it's just like flipping a breaker on your panel, okay? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna hit this first, and what you'll see, and I'll probably even open it up again, but you'll see the lights come on and you'll hear it start to fill. What it's doing is it's starting to fill this tank now, okay? It's got a run of 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, it'll start with the pump, and it'll start to, you'll see a plume of water come, so we call it plume. We can adjust the water. You're not gonna be able to see, but there's a little red tab way down underneath there. I don't think you'll be able to see it. We'll try. There it is. Hey, if your water tank is already full, like we were just showing that it was filling, and you don't want to wait for it and you're just wasting water at this point, you can just push this green one again, and now the plume will start. You want to see? We'll stop it. We'll hit green to turn it on. It's going to want to start filling, but I can skip by hitting green again, and the water starts right away. Okay? Right now you see it says auto start on, right, with this little asterisk. I don't know if you can see this guy. Can you see that guy right there? That is the sensor. So it's actually sensing that someone is standing there. We can turn it on or off. I like to have it on, but I can turn it off to show you, like now it's just an automatic or a manual start stop. We can also put it to where it's just a runtime. And after that certain amount of time, it'll turn itself off. Or this auto start, which is on. And now, let's see if we can do it. Let's walk away, Tucker. We're gonna walk this way. After 3 seconds, it turns itself off. After 3 seconds that you're away from that sensor, it turns itself off. After 1 second of being back, it will. There it is. We have disposers, we have collectors. We have a version that has a trough that goes to it. We have this thing called a scrap master. What, right? So what this is doing, this is actually going to be recycling this water, right? We were showing you that water. There's a pump intake right here, okay? So it is recycling all of this. You know what all this equals? 30 gallons. So it's recycling, well, it ends up being 30 gallons a minute. That's like 15 gallons, you get me, right? So it recycles 30 gallons a minute, and we're only losing 2 gallons a minute down the drain, because whatever starts to come to the top is just gonna go down that overflow, and that's what we're actually losing is 2 gallons a minute, which is not much at all. So when you're used to seeing that usual scrapper, right, with the disposer underneath, or sometimes just that lift out basket, they always have a spray hose right here. When you imagine a spray hose, say we put this right here and we're just using a spray hose, you're only able to spray and wash one at a time, right? Like you're rinsing that and then you put it down. Then you grab another and you're rinsing, and you have to kind of let go of it if you need to use the other hand. It's not the quickest thing. All right, so now we're gonna start, right? What I like to do is put this down first. Otherwise, if I put like a bowl down, then it really just fits right in perfectly into that area, and it will stop the water from going down. So instead of that happening, which can happen with plates or other things, I tend to put either a sheet pan or a cutting board down to where now all that water can go around the sides. Another thing with scrapping with the pre-rinse spray is you tend to just do one at a time. With this, with plume, we can put a bunch of them in there, and they can just kind of just sit as they're starting to get rinsed a little bit, right? So instead of doing one thing at a time, you can kind of start piling all of this. But look, there's food still in there. There's, let's see, that's barbecue sauce, I think. This is a sauce over here. There's still tomatoes. Typically, you'd see somebody with a trash can and they'd be whacking and trying to dump that over there. Maybe the servers are doing that. That's something that you can do. But the nice thing with these, right? So we're recycling 30 gallons a minute. We're wasting 2. With this, the way that it works, with us recycling that water and putting it down, all those soluble foods will go down the drain. So think of breads, think of potatoes, anything that is able to get to become part of the water, it'll go right down the drain. Any of the fibrous stuff is going to stay within that basket. So we don't need to dump this into the trash anymore, right? We can put this down. These peppers, they'll stay, but the liquid will go down, right? So same idea for any of this. More than likely this bread, most of it's going to go even though the cheese is on there. And it obviously is going to take time. So we can kind of get ready here. Let me bring all my stuff over. Clearly we had a yummy lunch here at eSource Miller. Maybe you should come to an experience if you hadn't gone to one of those yet. That's a fun time. That's a fun time. All right, we'll start with this and we'll move on from there, okay? So let's go ahead and start it. And we already filled it, so we're going to skip it. There we go. So as you see, somebody didn't really eat all their salad, but fine. Next thing you would really do, and this is something as far as if you're planning for this, you're going to need to have a rack space between the dish machine and this. So your rack's going to be right here. Now that I'm using this, I can just do that. I can kind of get these all underneath knowing, those are probably going to take a bit. Oh, look at that. Now it's getting all red. Oh, no. Remember, it's recycling the water for us, right? So I need to get probably a green Scotch-Brite scrubby. But we get the idea. Put it in. It's doing some rinsing for you. If it's not done, just put it back down and let it kind of get some more, right? Let's see. It's kind of got some really cooked on there. You know what? Let's just let it sit. Let's bring the rest over. If you know Jeff Griffiths at all, this is his favorite job in the kitchen. He doesn't want to cook. He doesn't want to do any of the sweeping or mopping or any of that. He wants to do dishes, and this is really one of the reasons why. All right, so as you see with 2 hands, you're really able to speed up your scrapping. Oh, look, there was a toothpick. Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine if that goes down, if a straw goes down. You obviously don't want the toothpicks, the straws, the ramekins, right? If they go down, whoop. But it's not a disposer, remember? So we'll show you kind of where we are here in a second once I put this first rack in, okay? The choke point for a dish machine is always going to be the scrap, okay? You're not going to be able to keep up with the dish machine. It would be quicker than you're able to usually scrap, especially using that. This is going to improve it by 2 to 3 times maybe, okay? You can kind of even see that with this bread, it's starting to kind of already break down, right? So I would not be surprised, especially if this was kind of early in the service and a couple hours of doing this, all of this will be gone. It's going to be kind of that cheese that's left from this, okay? Oh, look at that. I don't know if I want, well, remember, it's going to reduce your waste by 50% as far as what's in your trash at the end of the day. This is something that would typically go in that trash. This is something that can easily go down that drain. So we'll go ahead and let it go down. Goodbye, leftover yogurt. We'll do a little fast forward here. You'll kind of see, but we'll show you some more and do a little more talking. We'll see you in a second. Hang on. All right, guys, so we're going to kind of see, I let it run. We just want to see how much of that bread is gone. Turn it off, stop it, get that water out. Man, most of that bread is already gone. This has been going literally for 5 minutes maybe. You can start to see there's some bread left, right? But really it's chicken and tomatoes and lettuce, a little piece of steak, I think. Now it looks like it's well done. Yeah, so for the most part, that's going to be gone. The more that that's run, the more that that's gone. So you can kind of see how it's never going to get too full unless you just don't change it at all, and that's just disgusting. What I like to do when we're done A lot of times I tend to tell people to get a second basket so that when we get to this part where there's stuff that's still draining off, right? I tend to tell people, take this and put it on like right above a floor drain, okay? Something like that where you can put it right above a floor drain, let it go, get the other basket, put the other basket in, and now you're back up and going. Well, this kind of loses the rest of its water, right? What is left down here, come on closer. We'll see, it just looks like soup, right? But we can just take this out. Then when it's time to clean, we can kind of turn these on again. Kind of rub that out, clean that out. You guys get the idea, right? So there's really no moving parts for the most part. It's just that motor, it's that pump that is recycling the water. It's not a water pump, which remember, I don't know if we said this or not. I don't think I did. Silly me. Maybe a little tug time tip. Do the calculation of water savings, right? We're talking about 2 gallons a minute. If we're talking about a spray hose or rinse hose, that's usually 1 to sometimes even up to 3 gallons a minute. If we're talking about a disposer, even our disposers, you're looking at 5 to 8 gallons a minute, okay? There is a huge water savings in this, let alone when you walk away to go take the dishes from the other side or go grab whatever else. You don't have to hit the button because no one's really going to do that. You walk away, after 3 seconds, it's going to say, hey, no one's there. I'm going to shut down. And then you come back up, you're not having to hit a button again. It starts right back up. There's huge water savings in this. And it really is a faster scrap and a pretty cool little machine for how it works. So if you want to see this in action, come on and see me. Otherwise, I got some dishes to do. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.